You guys want to hear something absolutely insane? When I was 22, I went from being a guy that couldn't talk to a girl without shaking to going to the bar 10 nights over the course of a month and pulling a new girl home 7 out of those 10 nights. And I didn't do that because I had some crazy sick game. I did that because I was able to make a very sexual vibe super quickly with girls that I had just met. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to create a sexual vibe with girls that you just met without being a creep, because that's what most guys are worried about, and that's what I was worried about, honestly. So the first thing you need to do is be able to talk about your attraction towards other girls around the girl that you like. So say you have a crush on a girl. What I want you to start with, instead of trying to make things sexual between you and her, because that's really direct, really forward, and you're probably not going to do it very well. I just want you to start talking about other girls at the gym that you find attractive. Just mention it like it's not a big deal. Like, oh, do you know that blonde girl that comes in here sometimes? Like, she's so hot. She's like so attractive. I like need to talk to her. This is something I did really early on when I was starting to learn about pickup and game and how to talk to women. And it gets you to the point where you're really just comfortable talking about being attracted to women. Because guess what? A guy that can't say that and admit that he's attracted to women, he's not really going to get sexual with those women. Those women need to understand and know, hey, this guy finds me attractive. Hey, this guy has a sex drive. Hey, this guy has a penis. And, believe it or not, that's actually really important to have a penis and for her to actually know that you do. So this first step is really huge because it's the first step into acknowledging your sexuality, and really what all of this video is going to come down to. And you're going to want to stay till the end because I'm going to give you a mindset that's going to tie everything together super nicely so you can get a really powerful result from it. But what you need to realize is that you need to be okay with your sexuality as a man. It is not creepy to be attracted to women. What is creepy is directing sexual energy towards women that aren't expecting it or don't know it, or you're directing sexual energy inside without showing any intent. That's actually what's really creepy. A lot of guys go up to a girl, they want to have sex with the girl, and they don't show any intent. And it's really off-putting to the girl because they can tell that you want something. They just don't know what is going on. They're like, why is this guy talking to me? And you need to own why you're talking to the girl. And this is going to be the first step. So step number 1, just to repeat it again, with female friends and girls that you meet, I want you to talk about girls that you are attracted to, celebrity crushes, other girls at your school or gym or whatever. It can be anything, but talk about girls that you find attractive and don't make a big deal out of it. Don't be salivating like, oh my God, this girl's so hot. Just, oh yeah, she's really fucking hot. And then move on from it. It's really not a big deal. Now, the second thing I want you to do is when you get into interactions with women, I want you to practice nonchalantly calling her attractive. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. I'll give you some exact examples. One, if she's telling you a story about a guy that hit on her or any sort of story where something happens to her that's very like something that would happen to a hot girl, what I'll usually say is something like, oh my God, you're hot and that happened to you? I can't believe it. That's crazy. And I have kind of like a sarcastic reaction to it because it's like, obviously you're hot. I kind of talk about it in a matter-of-fact way. Or maybe she's talking about how dating sucks in your city. It's like, what do you mean? You're hot. Or if she's talking about how dating in your city sucks, which is like a really common topic for girls to bring up now, you can probably say something along the lines like, what do you mean? You're hot. You should have no problem getting dates. And then she can go into why guys suck and all this stuff, and you can get into a deeper conversation there. But the most important thing is to be able to acknowledge that she is attractive, because what a lot of guys do is they think about showing attraction as this thing that has all of this meaning behind it. Like if I show attraction, she's going to know I'm attracted to her, she's going to know I want to go on a date. When really, if I just acknowledge she's attractive, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have to mean, she can make assumptions if she wants. That's fine, but I just find you attractive. I think you're hot, like physically. That's it. Like I'm not like attracted to you necessarily for your personality or anything. I just think you're attractive. And I can be friends with girls I'm attracted to. I don't have to show tons of intent. I don't have to bend over backwards. I can not put you on a pedestal. And that is really, really powerful when you don't put girls on a pedestal for being attractive and you just acknowledge, yeah, you're very physically attractive. And then just move on from it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have power over you. That's a very, very powerful effect. And you're going to notice your vibe and chemistry with girls that you meet is going to start to level up a lot more. Girls are going to start viewing you as a guy that is actually an option now. Because when you can acknowledge that you think she's hot, but you also think other girls are attractive, and you have a sex drive, and you want to talk to girls, and you are interested in getting to know and going on dates with other girls, that's really powerful because now she knows, oh, this guy's uninhibited. He doesn't care. It's not a big deal. I could probably be more myself around this guy because he's not judging himself for finding women attractive. He doesn't have an ego about does he get me or not. He's not trying too hard to get me right now. He just is acknowledging like I'm attracted, but that's it. When you can do that, it's very, very powerful because the girl doesn't feel the pressure of, oh, this guy wants something from me. That's very, very important. And that's how you're going to open up more sexual vibes with the girl and just have a more sexual vibe exuding from you throughout your day. Now, I can make a video on specifically how to sexualize and escalate conversations verbally, because we can go a lot deeper on this topic where you actually make it sexual between you and her. But the next step that I want you to do to create more of a sexual vibe with these women that you're meeting is just talk about sex in general, whether it's making sexual jokes, talking about a sexual experience you had in the past, talking about other people having sex, whatever that is. Just like, oh yeah, that guy hooked up with her. I thought it was like really funny when I found out, because they totally, you can tell they like ignore each other. Like one thing you could do is say you're at the gym. It's like, hey, I noticed that these two people, like they always ignore each other. I feel like they definitely hooked up before. I feel like they were definitely fucking, and then now they broke up. Now they're not. And you can create like a little scenario for them, and now you're talking about sex. But the most important thing here is don't direct sexual topics towards her yet. You want to get to the point where you guys are open talking about sex, and maybe you even make some jokes that imply sexual chemistry between you two, but you don't actually explicitly say it yet. That is very important. You can do these things very quickly. When you're a guy that's very comfortable with his own sexuality and talking about sex, you can make sexual jokes 4 or 5 minutes into an interaction that doesn't necessarily point sexual energy towards her. That's the most creepy part. When you talk about sex, when you escalate into these more sexual topics, I just want you to keep it about sex. Like two people observing and talking about this thing rather than you talking about this thing with her, between you two. You don't want to put that much pressure on it, especially if you're not comfortable with your sexuality, you don't have a lot of sexual experience with women. Making things sexual between you and her, that's going to feel very forced rather than just talking about sex in general, getting her to warm up to the idea of talking about sex with you. Then you turn the knob up a little bit more later, and then you can escalate later into talking about sex between you and the girl. So just to reiterate those 3 steps to become more comfortable with your sexuality when talking to women. 1, talk about being attracted to other women in front of her. Then 2, you want to talk about being attracted to her without putting any meaning behind it, and you kind of want to mention this stuff in passing. And then 3rd, you want to get comfortable talking about sex or making sexual jokes that don't necessarily involve you and her directly, but just more sex in general in front of the girl. If you do those 3 things and you get really comfortable with that, you're going to get to the point where your conversations, honestly, will get very, very sexual. You'll start noticing girls will give you more eyes. They'll start looking at you different, and it's a very, very powerful feeling. And then you can just practice escalating more. If you want to know how you can escalate more consistently once you get to this point where you have a solid mindset, a solid foundation around your sex life and your sexual energy, and you kind of have a clear understanding of what you're attracted to, how to express yourself sexually without being creepy, you can join the school community for $49 a month in the description. I literally coach every single guy that joins the community for 30 minutes at the start to make sure you get off on the right foot. You actually have a game plan for the first 2 weeks of the program. There are 5 group coaching calls every single week. I'm literally about to get on one in about 30 minutes. I coach guys on how to escalate, how to tease, how to flirt, how to banter with girls. I coach on all of this stuff, and you can get direct feedback from me. These calls are very small, so you can get one-on-one feedback from me outside of just your initial one-on-one. There's also 6 full courses on how to generate attraction, how to get out of the friend zone, how to push through approach anxiety, how to just be the most attractive version of yourself, optimize lifestyle, optimize everything in your game so that women find you attractive and you can get consistent dates. This is literally a program that other coaches will charge $2,000 or $3,000 for straight up. All right, it's $50 a month. It's in the description. If you don't like it after 30 days, I will refund you. It's all good. I'm not worried about it. Just get in there, let me coach you, give me a chance. I'll see you guys inside. If you like the video, and then leave a comment down below. What do you want to see from me in the future? All right, peace.